Hi, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are around the world. So this particular episode that we're going to do in Family and Finance is a town hall that we held recently on two careers. One is how to become a property manager, which was done by our brother Israel ADEMOLA, and the other one is how to become a home inspector, property inspector by our brother Joshua Ojirinem. So here's the thing. A lot of us do part-time jobs, job number one, job number two, and we're very, very stressed out with the second job, for example. And so some of these careers, you don't need to do them full-time. You could actually explore them for part-time income. So for example, if you could make $20,000, $30,000 a year part-time, then that's a viable second engagement, basically viable side gig. And the good thing about that is that as a property manager, as a home inspector, you are self-employed. So we're going to talk about self-employment and employee, all of that. So it is really important to pay attention to what the gentlemen are saying and see how you can apply that to yourself, to your situation, or to a friend or a family member. And if you have any questions at all, reach out to me, reach out to our brother Israel, reach out to our brother Joshua, and they will help you with getting that side gig going. So enjoy the town hall, and God bless you. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Yes, we have another speaker today, which is me. And I'll be talking about the road path to become a property manager here in Abata. First of all, I want to say a very big thank you for everyone that joined this platform today. And also, I want to say a big, big thank you to Dr. Rose. This is our platform. And I want to thank her for the opportunity to be on this platform, to be able to share information on how, what it takes to become a property manager here in Abata. I will quickly share my screen. I know we do not have enough time. We can just quickly go through this and get people to have this information. And if you have any question, don't hesitate to stop me at any point. I'll be willing to answer your question. So, first of all, the step to become a property manager here in Abata. We have I will just go through the quick 7 steps. We have other information that goes beyond this, but these are one of the basic 7 steps we need to become a property manager here in Abata. I'll quickly go through them, then I will, talk a little bit about them. Number 1 is to get a high school diploma or equivalent. High school diploma or equivalent. I put something on the equivalent will go with ICAS. Number 2 will be to ensure you meet the eligibility requirements with RICA. RICA is the body that manage the real estate in Abata. RICA is the body that manage the real estate real estate operation here in Abata. And number 3 is to complete a training program. The training program usually come with through RICA, but we'll talk about that. We'll talk more about that when we get to that level. The number 4 is to complete a certified criminal record check. Third, the 5th one will be to obtain a job with a brokerage before you can practice as a property manager. Then also complete the licensing application. You will need to do the completion of the licensing application that go through the brokerage. Then the 4th one will be maintain your license that happen every year. So we go into it proper, how to get how to get here and there. So number one is you need to get a high school diploma or equivalent. So I said here the minimum education requirement to become a property manager will be to have the diploma or its equivalent, such as general education. So you can just look through that. But basically, there are some people that did not school here in Abata. Maybe you school from back home or from elsewhere, but you want to become a property manager here in Abata. Number one, you don't have to have a background knowledge in this industry, but it will help you a lot if you, aside from going through the education process, you need to, like Mr. Joshua said earlier, you need to go out there, look at what people are doing, search online, read about how to become a good property manager. But upon all of this, experience counts a lot. That's one, you can't buy that with money. You have to go through the experience. So say you do not have experience on how to become a property manager and you want to become one, and you did not even study here in Canada. There is a body called ICAS. If you have your certificate from where you are coming from, they will help you to assess the certificate to make sure that it meet up or it balance with the level of educational requirements you would need here in Canada or Edmonton, Alberta, before you can become a real estate agent, I would say, as a property manager. Then number two is to ensure you meet the eligibility requirements. There are eligibility requirements that the Real Estate Council of Alberta require you to meet before you can become a member of RICA, before you can become a property manager. Number one of them is to become, at least to be 18 years of age or above. And also you need to be legally, to work, you need to have a legal right to work or study here in Canada. You need to have a legal study permit or legal work permit here in Alberta before you can become a property manager. And number three is to have a government issue identification. You will need your ID. That is very, very important. Then also, you need to be very sound in English because you'll be communicating with a lot of people. You'll be communicating with the property owner. You'll be communicating with renters, because to be a property manager, that means you are managing a property, either a rental property, or you are managing a condominium, or you are managing a commercial condominium. You will communicate with people. So you need to ensure that your English communication, at least you can communicate effectively. It doesn't have to be like a British or Indian accent, but should be able to communicate whereby people can understand what you're saying. And also, like I said earlier, have a high school diploma or its equivalent by, having your certificate from wherever you're coming from. Then through ICAS, you can evaluate your certificate to ensure that it meets with the standard that it will require to become a licensed property manager here in Alberta. And also completing a training program. Once RICA approve your eligibility, because to be eligible, you have to go through some steps. There are some questions, lots of questions you will answer. You will answer with RICA, and the moment they go through that process and you are approved, then you can now move to the next phase. Then you can now choose your once RICA approve you, your eligibility application, you may apply for approved pre-licensing course. To choose the right course, consider your interest and career go first. As you can choose between real estate, mortgage, brokerage, condominium management program, and property management. So we have several institutions here in Alberta that take this program, but not every one of them is accredited by RICA. So you need to ensure that you go with the ones that are accredited by RICA. And also before, RICA used to undo that program, but now they outsource the training program, the education program, they outsource it. RICA owns it. They don't own, they owns the industry, but they outsource the program out to other institutions. And they've assessed those institutions, and they discover that they are teaching their model and their curriculum meet up with the standard that is needed to become a property manager here in Abata. So you can either go through Edmonton Real Estate Board, you can go through University of Calgary, you can go through NAICS, and there are so many other tertiary institutions that take this program. And you have to take that program and ensure that you pass the exam before you can get to the next phase. Because if you don't pass the exam, you cannot move forward. They have a fundamental real estate course. You have to do those ones. And when you're done with that, like Mr. Joshua also mentioned earlier, you need to complete a certificate of criminal record check. They want to check who you are, because most of the time you might be dealing with money, dealing with trust, dealing with people's property. And property, they are not the kind of investment you want to play with, because it involves a lot of money. So based on these, they want to know who you are. They want to check your criminal history. And another thing I want you to know is, even if you have a criminal record in the past, that does not mean that you cannot become a property manager. It's just that you have to go through intense scrutiny. They want to know what happened. They want to know what happened. They want to know if it's vindicated. They want to ensure that everything is clear before you could be approved to become a property manager. If the situation is severe, they might not approve you at that time, but that does not stop you from reapplying later after everything is being cleared off. So once you go through the criminal record check, then you pass that stage, you're good to go. The next step will be to obtain a job with a brokerage. Obtaining a job with a brokerage means that two things. Is either you are employed by a brokerage to become a property manager for the brokerage, or you register with a brokerage as an independent property manager. So it depends on the brokerage model. There are brokerages, they have an amount of fee they charge. Some there are ways they do it. There are some whereby maybe when you bring property, you have your property portfolio, there is an amount they charge from the amount you are making. And being a property manager, you can build huge portfolio, but you cannot stand on your own as a property manager. You need to register with a particular brokerage before you can practice as a property manager. So there's a way you can work things out with the brokerage. Maybe there will be some amount you'll be paying either as a deal, or when you make a deal, there's a certain amount they charge from that deal, or the brokerage employ you to keep managing all the properties that they have in their portfolio. Then you get paid, you'll be placed on a salary model. It depends on how it works for you. Then also the completing the license. Once you find your brokerage, the brokerage start the licensing process. So when you find a brokerage will help you, assist you, because it's a brokerage, to be able to initiate your license. For the fact that you go through all the process does not mean that you are good to practice. The brokerage will still have to help you to initiate the license. Becoming a property manager is good, because in the industry, we do not have a lot of people that want to practice as a property manager, because the stress is there, and also the reward, the model of reward. You have to have a volume of big portfolio before you can really enjoy it. So the brokerage will help you to, initiate your license. And after that, after becoming a licensed property manager, you will still have to maintain your license every September 30 of every year. You still have to do a renewal through RICA. You will pay the the cost that it attached to it. Every year you have to renew your license. And also, sometimes before you renew the license, there are some some educational program that you need to take, courses. They release it, maybe not every year, it could be once in 2 years, once in 3 years, it depends, to renew your knowledge in the field of property management, because you'll be representing people and you'll be dealing with lots of people when it comes to, most especially when it comes to renters. And you want to ensure that if somebody entrusts you with their property, you want to make sure that you manage their property accurately to their best, how do I call it? To their best satisfaction. So that is very, very important. And also, when you become a licensed property manager, you still have to engage either your broker to ask questions, ask the people in the field that are already in that practicing. You want to ask a lot of questions. You want to know how they do things. You don't know, don't just assume. Ask people, because you could get your hand burned, most especially when you are dealing with rental properties, because we have a lot of professional renters. There are a lot of things you need to know that you might not learn this from school. That has to do with how to deal with people, how to study renters, how to know if somebody is a fake or original, how to know who could be the potential good tenants on the property. And if you are dealing with, say, if you're managing commercial property like a condo, how to deal with condo board, how to deal with residents. These are lots of information and knowledge that you need to learn as you go. I will quickly stop here now if you have any question before we wrap it up. Do anyone have any question?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much for the presentation. My question is, is there a separate, do you get a brokerage license through RICA as well, or how do you get a brokerage license? Because you mentioned that a realtor has to go through, a property manager has to go through a brokerage. So how do you then get your brokerage license? Is it through RICA as well?
Thank you so much for that question. It's very, very important. And this is one of the ways you can enjoy the property management industry. For in my own case, I started, I'm a broker. I own a brokerage. So in my own case, I started as a property manager. But where the problem lies for me then was because when you have a property, you get a client, you want to manage your property, you cannot stand on your own. You have to have been practicing for about 2 years, either as a property manager, either as a realtor. You have to have been practicing for about 2 years. Then you need to have the you need to have license in all the 5 fields of real estate. In property management, you have to have a license as a rural real estate agent. You need to have license as a mortgage, property management, real estate, and commercial and rural. You need to have all these licenses separately. Take their courses, take their exam, pass their exam. After you do that, you can do all of those within 2 years, but you must have a valid, at least until after 2 years, before you can now apply for a broker license. And a broker license, you have to go study also. You have to take the study, pass the exam, then you now have a broker license. And becoming a broker, there are other requirements. You must have an office, not home office, a place you can call an office to operate before you can begin to operate as a brokerage. And there are so many other costs that, that comes with that. It's a lot of work, but that is how you can now begin to enjoy property management. And at that point, you don't become a property manager alone. You probably will have had the license as a real estate agent, commercial real estate agent, residential real estate agent, and rural real estate agent at the same time before you can become a broker.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other question? We have a few more minutes to wrap up here. I'm so sorry we lost you.
I have,
Go ahead, sir.
I have a question. My name is Isan. From everything that I've heard from the two speakers, it sounds like there's a cost-benefit analysis that needs to be done. I wonder if there's a way we can, in summary, say this is how much it costs to even begin to swim in the area of inspection and in your own area, area of real estate management. And this is what you could expect. I don't really need an exact number, maybe a range.
Okay. So that was a very, very good question. Thank you so much for that question. Yes, you need to do your cost analysis, and how that comes in play is by, asking the one that are in the field before you get into it, because to become a property manager, you have to engage you have to pay for the pre-licensing with RICA. So as out of when somebody like me and maybe Pastor Mr. Joshua, when he did, I don't know, for me, the prices are changing. So it's the way to know that is to engage RICA itself, herself, by asking those questions. But when it comes to taking the courses, you have to engage those the course provider. What do they charge? Because they charge differently. If you of University of Calgary is charging maybe 1,000, another university or course provider might be charging 800. So it depends. You need to ask that too. Then, when it comes to the reading, they are voluminous. You must make sure that. Sister Adonia, are you saying something?
No.
Okay. So you need to get all this information before you dive into it. And more so, the number one thing I want you to know is passion also play a key role. You must have passion for what you want to do. If there is no passion, you might not turn the way you expect. I hope I'm able to answer the question.
So I can
I
also
appreciate it.
I can also answer from the home inspector perspective. So on the average, you're going to be looking at an initial investment of close to $10,000. The program between SAIT and NATE, it's about, you're taking 10 courses, about $470 something for each course. That's about $5,000 just for the course. The licensing is about close to, insurance alone is about close to $4,000. Equipment to start, you're going to spend maybe roughly $1,000 to $2,000, right? Licensing fees and all of that. So on the average, you're looking at $10,000 to $12,000 for initial investment. But the single inspection, you can easily get between $450 to $500. So by the time you've done 20 to 30 inspection, you've already covered your initial cost, of starting the business. And thereafter, you have annual licensing and all of that. So yeah, if you look at that from a perspective of initial cost outlay versus the benefits and what you're going to be getting, I think you can do your analysis from that information.
Much appreciated. Sorry for taking much time. Second related question is, what's the outlay in terms of the prospect? Particularly for property management, it sounds like Alberta is looking to build more houses. Could you just, from your insight, speak to what we should be expecting in the next couple of years in that industry? Thank you very much.
So, thank you for that question also. Alberta is building houses, and we discovered that most of the people that are buying houses, after they have their first house, the next house will be investment. And not everyone that owns investment property can actually manage it because they have their profession. And the cost of managing a property, if you have to weigh it in terms of paying yourself, do you think the time you invest in, getting rental, managing rental, is it what you managing it yourself? That is why a lot of people get a property manager. And we have in Alberta the chances and opportunity of building more houses, and which we are doing. So property manager is highly needed here in Alberta. So the way you charge, generally speaking, is most usually depends on the kind of property you are managing. If you are managing residential property, You go between 8 to 12% charges on the rental income that you get every month. Most of the time you do the job is finding the right tenant. If you find the right tenant, the next thing will just be to maintain those tenants, and you keep getting those income. But there are ways to go about it though, because if you don't know how to manage them, something will happen along the way. They might need, to get something done. They might need to, there might be an emergency. So it depends on the property you are managing. It depends on the tenant you place on the property. It depends on the amount you're charging, renter on the property. Those are the things that will determine what you get paid at the end of the day. So, and that also culminates with if you want to continue, because it is a game of numbers. If you don't have enough numbers, enough properties you're managing, you might not be making end meets at that point. But you could get to a point whereby you'll be making about 6,000. It will now serve as a residual income for you while you're still doing some other job. Sister Duni, please go ahead.
Thank you very much, Mr. Israel. So my quick question is there a difference between the residential property manager and the commercial property managers?
There are different, but the same license can manage both. So another thing you need to know is that there is a condominium property manager. Condominium property manager, you need to get a condominium license, property manager license. If you don't have a condominium property manager license, you cannot manage condominium.
Okay.
And if you manage a condominium as a rookie that is just coming into the play, you need a supervisor. You need to manage the condominium under the supervision of somebody that have experience for over 2 years.
Okay.
Yes. You cannot just wake up today and have your license today and begin to manage condominium. You can't stand it. You can't stand it. The pressure in that industry, you need to manage it under the guidance of an experienced condo manager.
Okay. Thank you.
I know we are highly running out of the time. Do we still have any question before we wrap it up here? I'm sorry we are beyond the time. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I'm very particular about the same question that I asked earlier from Mr. Joshua. It's the same thing I want to ask. Do you see a lot of women in your industry, like property manager? Are we marginalized kind of in those areas that you practice?
So that's a very good question. So there are more male inspectors than female inspectors. I don't have statistically in terms of percentages. I don't know the exact percentages, but I've seen a few female inspectors. Even in my work with the city where I do similar work, I have 5 male staff and 1 female staff, and we all. So that tells you in terms of if you want to do like statistical comparison,
yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the way. I've tried to bring in more female staff in my team, but I brought one in last year, but yeah, she moved on. So yeah, that's give me some perspective.
For sure. And Mr. Israel, is it the same for your industry as well?
For my industry, we have lots of female property managers. In fact, we have more female. No, maybe not more, but at least I would say 50-50.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, we have lots of in fact, female are more, I would say. Female are more when it comes to property management industry. We have lots of that practice that area because, female, they even know how to relate with people even more. And they know how to manage people because when you're doing property management, it's about managing people. And managing people is the toughest task you can deal with. So we have lots of female property managers.
So I would just say probably you're saying the nurturing of female cannot kick in when it comes to property management for ladies. Is that what you're trying to say?
I would say both parties, but I think ladies have our upper hand there too in that industry.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sister Doni. Do we have any other question? If there are no more questions, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone that has participated in this program today. I want to thank you for your time devoted to, join this program and to get some knowledge in one way or the other that will help you or help someone you know to further their career in this industry. And once again, I want to say a very big thank you to Mr. Joshua for becoming part of this program and also sharing information that will be useful to every one of us that join this program. And once again, thank you for having me on this program. And all the kudos go to Dr. Rose because she is the owner of this platform and giving us the opportunity to make this happen. We are not taking it for granted. Thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Thank you.
Thanks.
And bye for now.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.